want the whole team to see this. So I am so thrilled to be here with you guys. If you don't know, I had to miss our last 2 weeks of team calls because evenings have not been great for me. I've just been incredibly sick and nauseous and was unable to get out of bed the last 2 weeks to have a team call for you guys. So I am just thrilled that I'm able to be here. And I just wanted to say, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for just being such an incredibly understanding, gracious, and supportive team. You guys are absolutely incredible. It's been probably one of the hardest things about being so sick has been that I feel like, I didn't want to cry. I feel like I'm letting you guys down, and my heart beats for you guys. Everything I learn, everything I do, everything I try it and I do it and I learn it for you guys because I want you to succeed. And I know that you guys are amazing girl bosses, and I know that you guys are in control of your own businesses, and it's your job and you're doing an amazing job at it. But I want to be the best mentor that I can be, and I know that I haven't been as present. I haven't been able to check in one-on-one with you guys as I would like, and I feel that, and I really, it's hard for me, but you guys have been amazing, and I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart how thankful I am to have your support and to have your just your well wishes and your energy. So anyways, just wanted to say that, how much I love you guys. So today we have an amazing guest speaker, one of my good friends, my success partner. Kyrsten is a coach on Morgan Rieger's team, and Morgan is one of Becca's success partners, so we're kind of like generational success partners. But she's just a phenomenal coach in so many ways. If you guys don't follow her, I recommend that you do. The way that she shares from the heart, the way that she inspires, the energy that she has is truly unique. And I interact with a lot of coaches, and there's something about her that just stands out that is very special. I have respected her from day one, and I'm just so thankful that we get to be success partners. I've learned a lot from her. So I'm excited for you guys to learn from her as well. And without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Kyrsten.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside. What a nice introduction. It's kind of funny, and I don't even know if I could pinpoint like when we started following each other or when we started connecting, but it's kind of funny. We were in I think it was a diamond training group of some sort, or one of the bombshell groups, and I was like, I'm looking for a success partner, but deep down I was like, I hope Vanessa messages me. I hope it's her. And we ended up connecting, so it was wonderful. So thank you guys for taking time out of your night to listen to what I have to say. So basically, this is actually a topic that I spoke about at our local Super Saturday, the last one we had. And it's something that's so near and dear to my heart because it took a long time for me to actually believe in myself. And, I think there's this barrier, between us starting out as new coaches and then finally feeling comfortable enough to be a leader in our own businesses. And for me, that wall was self-doubt. And until I, crushed that wall down and broke through that, I wasn't able to excel because, I had overcome so many other hurdles in my life and in my business. But that one hurdle that I thought was small was the biggest one of all. So I know everyone here, you've all had to make a choice at some point in your life. A choice to come on this call tonight, a choice to initially invest in your workout program, wake up each morning, do your workout, eat healthy, and the choice to begin your business as a coach. Sometimes making those decisions can be super difficult. Often, like I said, the biggest hurdle is ourselves. We have that little voice inside of our head telling us that we can't succeed. Or that, why bother trying? Why start? Because, we just can't. I know a lot of us, and I speak mostly on my own behalf, but you've missed out on a lot of opportunities in life simply because you were afraid to try. Whether that was, in junior high, you didn't try out for the basketball team. You really wanted to, but you thought, well, I'm not going to make it, so why bother? And maybe for some of us, I know for me, I didn't want to sign up to be a coach because I was scared to fail. And that's not me. I like to win. I'm competitive. And I thought, well, there's no way I'll be good. There's no way I can be like Morgan or Becca. Like, there's no way I'll get to that level. It's not possible. But you kind of have to have faith and push through that. But throughout our lives, we're always being presented with opportunities, and we always have a choice to take that opportunity or to stay afraid of it. So I know you guys have probably all heard the quote, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. That's something that resonates so true for me. And I talk about that with my coaches all the time, that, when you're afraid of something or you have a hurdle or a roadblock, you need to look at this and say, is it something internal that I can change? Or is this an external force that, oh, well, there's no way that you can get around it? Because oftentimes it is something inside that's holding us back. So really important to be able to recognize the difference between internal and external, boundaries or hurdles that we're facing. So now this is kind of like tough love, and I'm a super positive, really cheery, fluffy, rainbows and glitter type of gal. But sometimes I have to tell myself, like, the only thing that's standing between me and my goals is this bullshit story I keep telling myself. I need to stop it, because we know darn well that we're not going to achieve our dreams unless we get over that hurdle and we stop telling ourselves that, well, I started late, or I don't have as many friends as that coach does, or she always has really nice pictures, and gosh, she always has the best quotes. Where does she come up with that? And she gets like 90 likes on everything. How do I get to that level? It's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter, because chances are the only difference between you and that coach is time. Because ultimately that's what it is. When I started out as a coach, it was like, oh man, a $50 a week, $100 a week. Like, why can't I be like Lindsay Matway and like crush $20,000 a week? Like, I really, really want to get there. And it's like, well, you're told right at the beginning, like, this isn't a get rich quick scheme, right? So it's like, well, okay, fine, I'll be patient. And that's what my coach kept telling me. He's like, just chill, do your basic, we use like a Revitalize or like some sort of business tracker. If you're following your business tracker, you're doing the vital behaviors, and you stay patient and consistent, you'll be fine. So as we went along, all of these coaches that had signed at the same time I did, they started falling off like flies. They quit and they didn't want to do it because they thought, well, screw it. I'm not making $1,000 a week. It's not worth it. But I was like, well, what do I have to lose? Like, I'm still going to drink the shake. So I might as well just like plug along and do what I have to do. And now it's like, holy smokes, thank gosh I did, because there comes this point where all of a sudden you look at your online office and you check your Thursday morning paycheck and you're like, when did this happen? Like, I was just complaining not that long ago of having like $50, $100 weeks. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, like time and patience pays off, like big time. So off on a tangent, back on track here. Okay. So I'm a serial excuse maker. I don't know about you guys, but I would make excuses for everything. So I had an excuse for why I was in terrible shape, why I couldn't work out, why Beachbody programs were ridiculous. When I first started, I'm not kidding, I couldn't walk down to my washer and dryer without having to stop and like take a breath. I was so out of breath. I couldn't have long conversations and be able to keep my breath because I was so out of shape. I was out of breath all the time, and I had an excuse for everything. It's like, well, I have a bad knee. I can't go to the gym. Like, I have a bad knee. I have to rest my knee. Well, I have a bad knee because I'm overweight. So I went to my physical to see my doctor, and he's like, I was 24 at the time. He said, you need to lose some weight. You're a bit too heavy. I thought, oh, this guy's insane. He's crazy. He has no idea what he's talking about. Like, I'm not overweight. And then he like does like the whole like BMI thing with me. And I said, well, BMI is ridiculous. Like, BMI is so skewed. He's like, Kyrsten, like, I'm not trying to fat shame you. Like, I'm just saying that you're unhealthy and you need to start moving. You need to start eating better. And he'd be like, well, what do you eat? I'm like, well, I make this like really good, like from scratch pasta, like twice a week. And he's like, well, okay. Like, yeah, like, because you do home baking and home baked goods, that doesn't mean that that's necessarily good for you. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I had an excuse for absolutely everything. I had an excuse for why Beachbody coaching would never work for me. I grew up with my coach, Morgan, and when she started doing this coaching thing, I was one of those people who was like, oh my gosh, she's so annoying. Like, I can't stand it. And you know why I was upset at her? I was jealous because she was happy and she was healthy and she was so in shape. And I'm like, okay, so that's another excuse. Just stop it. So I used every excuse. So I would say I'm too far gone. There's no way I can lose all this weight. I'm so busy now. I have no time to work out. Like, I don't have kids. Like, I have a cat. Like, how can I possibly be like too busy to do anything? Like, whenever I say that, and I have like all these mom friends, I'm like, one of my only friends who doesn't have kids, they're like, oh, you're too busy. Oh, that's cute. Great. I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm super busy. Like, I have to like watch TMZ. I missed last week. I have no idea what's going on with the Kardashians. Like, I need to catch up on this. So yeah, so ridiculous. I didn't have the energy to work out. And that's the case for a lot of people who are out of shape. You know, when you're not eating healthy and you're not moving, you don't have that energy. You feel exhausted all the time. And then when you start doing those first few workouts, you feel like, wow, I feel pretty damn good. Like, where did this energy come from? So another thing I would say is like, I know nothing about sales. Like, I know nothing. I had like 120 friends on my Facebook at the time. I'm such an introvert. I guess they call me an extroverted introvert. Around my friends, I'm super flamboyant, but around crowds and strangers, I'm like, yeah, please, like, don't make eye contact with me. I don't want to talk to you. Like, I don't want this to happen. So yeah, I knew nothing about sales. Coaching wouldn't work for me. I'm starting out on my own fitness journey. I'm no Autumn Calabrese. I don't have abs. Like, my butt jiggles when I walk. Like, who wants to follow me? Who is going to be like, yeah, that girl, I want her to be my coach. She is so inspiring and so fit. I want her. And it was like, no, I can't possibly do that. There's no way. So I always said to myself, I would never be successful as a coach. So why bother trying? Can anyone else relate to any of these excuses? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. So it's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you aren't. So stop saying, I'm not this. I can't do this because. Reverse it. Because if you put all this focus and energy towards what you aren't and what you can't do, you completely ignore all the things you are capable of and the things that you can do. So start saying, okay, well, I'm not a salesperson, but we all know that that doesn't matter in Beachbody. Well, I'm a good storyteller and I can convey my message well. So that's good. Okay, I have that going for me. Or, you know what? I actually am really good at taking photos and using like really sweet filters on my camera. That might help. Okay, sounds good. So you have to start focusing on what you're good at, because if you focus on, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, it's exhausting. And then eventually you'll feel so defeated that you'll be like, well, I quit because I can't. Like, I don't have Lindsay Matway's wardrobe. I can't post all these amazing photos of me in clothes because, let's face it, I wear acid wash hoodies like 90% of the time. Like, I can't possibly do that. So don't try and be a Lindsay Matway. Don't try and be a Brittany Leggett. Be you. Be Gabby. Be Leah. Be whoever you need to be, because being someone else is not going to work for you. And for the longest time, I was like, I'm just going to follow what Amy Silverman does. That's what I'm going to do. And then I was like, well, I'm trying to like follow suit, and I'm like, I don't relate to her at all. I'm like, well, maybe I should start being who I am. Maybe that'll help grow my business. And then sure enough, it's like, oh, I be myself and my business grows. Wow, what a concept, hey? So then one of my favorite quotes, and Brené Brown has her new book out, Rising Strong. I don't know if any of you guys have read it yet, but I've read a few excerpts and I'm going to be reading it this holiday season. But she says, the most dangerous stories that we make up are the narratives that diminish our inherent worthiness. We must reclaim the truth about our lovability, divinity, and creativity. And I love that. Brené Brown, I have such a girl crush on her. She's just amazing. And I feel like anyone can really relate to her. She's so worldly. I just love it. So how did I overcome self-doubt? And I get that question a lot, because especially from people who knew me before coaching, they're like, you went from being like a shy, sarcastic, kind of I don't know what the word would be. Maybe like cynical, I guess. I was kind of like always a person being like, well, that won't work. Like, oh, that's stupid. Like that was me. I was that person. And then I go through this transformation of being super positive and like uplifted and feeling like $1,000,000 all the damn time. People are like, hey, well, what did you do? So the first thing that I did was I stopped comparing myself to others. This was such a toxic behavior. Everyone is on their own journey. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. And one of the biggest things you guys need to remember, because we're on Facebook and social media all the time, don't compare your behind the scenes struggles with someone's highlight reel, because you're going to see a lot of the good stuff from everybody, right? And then you see, you know, what's going on in your life and you're like, gosh, like I don't have my life together. Like I have stuff sitting in the dryer for like 5 days. Like I need to get my life together. What's going on? And all these people are like, oh, like so organized and just like they have 5 kids and they still do it. And I'm like, I have a cat. Like I do nothing. Oh my God. Like I need to get my life together. So stop comparing yourself to other people. Like you need to just like stop it right now. Like done, over. The second thing was forget about what people think about you. Stop caring so much about that. It's your life. That's it. Like it's your life, not theirs. And stop making life decisions based on what you think someone may or may not think about you. Because oftentimes you're like, oh gosh, I don't want to post this because my sister-in-law is kind of a bag and I don't want her to see that and like make fun of me at Thanksgiving dinner. And then she ends up being like, hey, like, I really think what you're doing is great. And you're like, oh, like I always thought you were kind of mean and now you're like being kind of nice about it. Okay, great. So don't worry about what people think about you, because chances are they think what you're doing is great. And if they don't, who cares, right? You don't need them in your life anyways. So if someone chooses to be rude, passive aggressive, or downright mean, take it as a blessing in disguise. And it's the universe's way of saying, hey, this person sucks. Get them out of your life. Here's your sign. So just take it as a sign from whatever divine power you believe in. It's just a sign saying, check you later. Okay. And sometimes that's hard because lots of times the people that end up giving us the most grief or flack are people that are close to us. It's not usually complete strangers that are like, I think what you're doing is super weird. It's usually like your brother and you're like what? Why are you being mean to me? Right? Like it doesn't make sense. So you can't necessarily be like, okay, brother, I don't want you in my life anymore, but at least stand up to him and say, you're being a dick and I'm doing something that makes me happy. So you should be totally okay with that. Thank you. Goodbye. So my thing that I always say to my coaches is bless and release, block and delete. Just like check you later. Bless and release, block and delete, bye. Done. Yes. Bye, Felicia. Exactly. So number 3 was dive in head first and figure it out along the way. The first step is always the most difficult one. So just get it out of the way. Do something that scares you, because nothing good comes from making safe decisions or being super comfortable. Like you never hear a motivational speaker be like, yeah, I led a mediocre life and I made no risky decisions and I feel amazing and I achieved so much. No, they're like, I went through struggle. I had to go through like deep and dark times. I made mistakes. I had to do things over and I had to take 8 steps back to get to where I am. It's never like, well, yeah, I took the easy route and things really worked out and I'm just really happy with the way things turned out. It's great. No one ever says that. So dive in head first. It's okay. The magic happens when you decide to get out of your comfort zone. And remember, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So whether that step for you was deciding to buy that first challenge pack, like, can you imagine if we didn't order that challenge pack? Can you imagine, like, what would we be doing on a Monday night? I have no idea. Like, what would I be doing right now? I'd probably be eating pizza, which I still do, but like, let's be honest, probably like a whole pizza. And I'd be sad and like body shaming myself and maybe like drinking beer. And it's just like not okay. It's not okay. So it's kind of amazing to think back, like if I would have, what if I didn't make that decision? So we all made that decision to invest money. And at the time we were like, that's a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money to invest in ourselves. And as women, we're usually like, well, you know, like that could go towards something a little better. Like, I don't know if I should put that into me. And I know we've all felt that way. And especially mothers, right? It's like, oh, I'm the last person that should get invested into, right? So number 4, do your personal development. Like, I will be the first to admit that when my coach said, do personal development, I was like, well, I'm not sick. And like, I'm not like needing help. So thank you, but no thank you. Like, I'm good. And she's like, no, like, I'm not saying that you need help. She's like, it's just a really good way to learn about yourself and to really grow as a leader. And I didn't do it till like a year in, you guys, like a year in. And then finally, one of the first audiobooks I bought was Dr. Wayne Dyer. I forget what it is. Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. And it was so moving. Like, I felt like I went through this like transformation through the 80 Tao passages. It was amazing. So after that, I was completely hooked, because even if it's just 5 minutes, if it's a podcast, a book, an audiobook, a blog, YouTube videos, whatever sparks your interest. And, you know, personal development isn't just for the sick or the sad. It's for everyone who wants to grow and wants to know, right? So you can't expect to just keep going throughout life and developing and progressing unless you're willing to learn a bit more about yourself. And what personal development works for me isn't going to be what works for you. So I know there were, I think it was Entre Leadership was one that got sent out. I read the first few pages and I was like, I don't know, like this isn't for me. Like, oh gosh, like what am I going to do? And then I put it down and picked up something else. I'm like, oh, like this is fine. Like, I like this one way better. So find something that works for you, because there's no cut and dry answer, because we all have different goals. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll type in personal development books for organization, because like I said, I am crazy unorganized at times. And then I found one of the things that came up was Eat That Frog. And I loved it. It was so good. So, you know, just type in what you're looking for, what you need to work on. And chances are you'll find something that suits exactly what you need to learn. And then the other thing I had was, identify your biggest supporters and nurture those relationships. There will be people that support you and people who don't. And as far as surround yourself with those people that are positive and uplifting and who support your journey, make sure that you share your gratitude and love for these people, and that show them that they matter the most. Because ultimately, you know, if we focus too much on, like I said, the negative relationships, we're trying to nurture and really force these other relationships to work. And we're like, oh gosh, I just want them to like me and support what I do. You kind of forget about the ones who are already there cheering you on. So take a step back, send out a note, a handwritten letter, take someone out for coffee and say, you know, I just want you to know that you make this so much easier for me. And I know that I have you in my corner, and I know that you're there for me. And speaking personally, one of my best friends in the entire world, like I consider her like my soulmate. She doesn't really support what I do. She doesn't really like Beachbody. She thinks it's ridiculous. She's really into the gym and really expensive trainers. And like, it's just not her thing. And she never asks me how it's going. She never asks me anything. We spend a lot of time together, and it breaks my heart. But I don't force the matter, because I know that no matter how much I drill it into her head that Beachbody is amazing and she should stop being so mean to me, I know that that's not going to change. She needs to come around on her own terms, and that's okay. That's totally fine. So I take a step back and I nurture the relationships that matter the most to me. And she'll come around in time. She'll come around. And yeah, just really love and nurture the people that love and nurture you back. 6, stop making excuses, period. Number 7, make a plan, set goals, figure it out. No matter what it is, write it down on paper. It's not going to do you any good sitting in your head. So make an action plan, make something on PicMonkey, draw something down in your notebook, make plans. And not only making plans, but share your plans and goals with a friend, with a success partner. Like, I talk with Vanessa pretty well daily, and I tell her, okay, this is my plan, this is what I'm doing. And she'll probably message me in like a week and say, hey, like, how's that coming along? And I'm like, well, I haven't started. And she's like, oh, you totally should. Like, you were so gung-ho about it last week. And I'm like, okay, yes, I will. So that's where a success partner really comes in handy, for sure. So sharing your goals and plans with a friend or a partner, because sometimes we don't necessarily want to, share that with everybody, in your Facebook world. But if you have someone who can hold you accountable, that's amazing. And so take advantage of that for sure. So the last point I have is stop with the negative self-talk. You are beautiful, you are smart, and you are worthy of your own love. And you, more than anyone else in the entire universe, deserves your love and affection. So you hear the old adage about you can't fill cups unless yours is full first, right? You need to make sure that your cup is full. So you need to love yourself. You need to nurture yourself. You need to do things that make you happy. So yeah, follow your heart and just do things that make you feel really, really good. And believe in your ability to change the things that you can and accept the things that you can't. Don't worry so much about all these huge things that, well, I'll never have Lindsay Matway's hair. Like, that'll never happen. Well, that's not going to make you a good coach. So just chill. It's okay. Worry about the things you can change and forget the rest. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So that's kind of my spiel. I kind of rambled on there for a little bit, and I know we only have 10 minutes left, but I'd love to take any questions.
That was so, so great, Kyrsten. And I kind of love like the rambling from the heart anyways, because, I think everyone here can just tell that you're speaking from a place of authenticity. These are not just things that you came up with in your minds, like you've lived it out. And these are lessons that from an experienced and successful coach. So I know that everybody is appreciating it. And yeah, if there are questions, guys, please throw them up in the chat. I just wanted, while I'm waiting for those questions to come through, I just wanted to piggyback on what Kyrsten said about personal development. You guys hear me say this all the time, but I'm just going to say it again. It is so important to do personal development, and I was wanting to share with you guys anyways because I have finished one of my books and I haven't started a new one yet. Actually, I just started one today, but it had been like 2 weeks, and I was just kind of like listening to random podcasts, like the National Wake Up Call and things like that. And that's fine. That helps me learn more about my business and my craft. But I highly recommend, guys, that you do an actual personal development book that's going to grow you almost like spiritually in some sense, like the type of book that Kyrsten was talking about that she started off with, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, 15 Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. You Are a Badass is a great one. Just ones that will like kind of get your head in the right mindset, because there's personal development that's like learn about your business, how to be a good coach, National Wake Up Call, Bombshell Dynasty Call, BTFP Call. These are all like great stuff to do. But if you're not reading something that's just like feeding your soul, you're going to suffer. And I'm sharing that because I've had like a little hiatus from it. And boy, have I seen just my whole positivity and outlook kind of suffer. And so I picked up a book today that I'm going to be reading, and I'm excited about it. But I just wanted to throw that out there because sometimes we hear personal development and you might think, yeah, I'm doing that. But I really encourage you to step it up if you're not reading something that's like feeding your soul. It's going to make a big difference. Savannah asked what book. Kyrsten, do you have any off the top of your head that you recommend in that sort of category?
Well, the one that I talked about, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, there's 80 short passages. So it's perfect because I read it or listened to it as an audiobook on my way to work. So each passage was about 5 minutes long, like not very long at all, but they were so deep that I thought about it all day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how can I be more like a toad? Like how can I be more like a toad and just like observe? Like it's very Eastern, but like that's so me. And it's just, that's one I really like. There's another one I have. I forget. I like Deepak Chopra. I really like him. Brené Brown. Anything Brené Brown. Her books are kind of meant to be read in a series, so I would start off with like the earliest one probably, which was I can't think of it right now, but it was one of the first ones.
The Gifts of Imperfection.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I will second Brene Brown, anything by Brene Brown. She also has an incredible like audiobook, but it's not really an audiobook, but you get it as an audiobook, called The Power of Vulnerability. But it's really like a seminar that she was teaching. And so it's not like her reading a book, it's like her talking, which I prefer. It's very engaging. She's very animated. It doesn't sound like a book because it's not. It's just sort of her research. And I listened to it during my workouts because it was just that engaging that I could just kind of do my workouts and listen. Guys, I would have times where I would just have to like pause my workouts and just like it was emotional. Like it was super, super like personal growth for me. It was great. So yeah. Let's see. So some people looking for success partners. Yeah, guys, definitely find success partners. Find success partners, and then also, sorry, let me answer. Brene Brown. Find success partners and use them. I mean, I haven't been the greatest success partner these past couple of weeks because I've been like totally sick pants. But success partners are awesome but they're awesome if you use them, right? So Kyrsten doesn't have to like hunt me down and figure out what my goals are. Like I tell them to her and she tells them to me without, like, we're leaders, right? We're taking charge of our own business, but we're using the tool of having a success partner. So yes, get a success partner, but don't wait for them to make the first move. Like say, okay, these are my goals for this week. What are yours? Or, how are you doing on your goals? Like just take charge. Don't be timid. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it can almost feel like in school when you have like a group assignment, and you're kind of like, I don't want to take the lead, but like nobody else is. Like you kind of feel that way with success partners sometimes. But just go for it. Find somebody who you feel like is a great coach that you respect, and ask them if they would be able to help you be accountable. Bounce ideas off of each other. Like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this new training. I'm thinking about doing this new thing. What do you think? Their ideas and insight can be totally invaluable.
And it's nice to have a partner you guys have the same values, but also who have different strengths, because like and she might not think that this is right, but I think she's so organized and like has like her thoughts together and is just like so clear cut. Whereas I'm like mud, like I'm just like muddy. And it's like, well, how do you do this? I'm like, well, I do it 90 different ways. I do it all this. And she's like, well, this is how I run it. These are my systems. So it was like, okay. So I started a blog because Vanessa was like, yes, I like my blog. I'm like, okay, I'll do a blog. I'll try that. So it's nice to find someone who compliments you and contrasts you as well. So that helps. I saw one of the questions was, how long have I been a coach? I've been a coach for 1.5 years.
What month did you start? Did we start at the exact same month?
April? Was it April?
Oh, okay. I started in March, but I didn't really start working my business till April.
Yeah.
So.
Crazy. Yeah, I did my first challenge group in March of last year.
Yes, that's same with me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. And then my coach was like, do you want to be a coach? I'm like, no, stop asking me. No, I don't. So.
Nice. Okay, well, guys, I think our time is up. Kyrsten, thank you so much for your time, for pouring your heart into this call and into my team. I appreciate it so much on a personal level and as, the team leader. So
anytime.
Thank you. And guys,
if you guys want to add me on Facebook, feel free, and you can ask me questions there if you think of any later.
Awesome. All right, guys, have a great night, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.